Hello, hello, hello. This is a serious topic today. I don't think I've ever been brave enough to talk about this before, but I'm getting a lot of questions and a lot of messages from network marketers who are asking for my honest opinion. They're feeling a kind of way and they want to reach out and ask someone who they feel will give them an honest um, answer, which an honest and considered answer. Now, if you know me in the industry at all, then you will know that I keep my finger on the pulse with the industry news, company news. I have lots and lots of friends, if you're on, say hi, who are top leaders, top earners in their companies, and their companies founded around the world. And so I feel like, I've always got my finger on the pulse in network marketing. And even though I don't actively build a network marketing business, I still absolutely love the profession. And I'm very, very lucky to get to coach that within Entrepreneurcity, which is fabulous. Hey guys, you're just finding me. Say hi. I'm talking about, the question that some of you might have asked yourself already, and you don't have to be honest and put yourself out there and mention in the comments. You don't have to do that. But I do want to share some thoughts with you on this topic because I know that when I've had thoughts like this, I've felt really alone, like really alone, and thought, like, who can I go to that I could honestly trust 1,000,000% that would give me an honest, honest advice from an impartial place. So if I was going to go and speak to someone who maybe I was thinking about joining, they're not necessarily impartial, are they? Because I could make a decision that would benefit them financially. And so therefore I wouldn't be totally comfortable that they were giving me the advice that was best for me. If I spoke to somebody who was in the same company as me, they might have just a completely different experience. And how would I know? So, my point being is that when you start to have difficult thoughts, difficult feelings, I'm going to talk about that, Chantal. Difficult thoughts, difficult feelings, then how do you process them? Where can you go to? So, if you want to save this video, if you want to share it with somebody within your industry or whatever, this is not going to be telling you what to do. It's more about telling you what to consider. And also some brutal honesty from the start. Now, I'm going to give you about the timing that we're in right now. And I love it, by the way. If you do have concerns, like Chantal has been brave enough to comment on there and say concern about saturation and that kind of thing, then feel free to comment on there because I'm happy to have like an open, I don't care what it says, like an open conversation with you guys about it and answer and give you any bits that I can. What I would say is that what you find useful, take. What you don't, leave it at the table. That is just my humble opinion. So that's all I'm giving you. Right now in the world, we're in a time of uncertainty and hardship. The uncertainty comes from the economy. We know that we have increased living costs. We've all heard it like a million times. And this has an effect on our industry. It has an effect on every industry, by the way. This is not just network marketing, it has an effect on every single industry in a different way. There will be industries that massively boom because our cost of living or our energy rises or whatever. There will be other industries that drop. Let me explain to you what will happen with the network marketing industry as we've seen previously. In network marketing, when times are uncertain, it can slow down recruiting, for example. I always talk about this pendulum in network marketing. You have a pendulum of one of the sides being retail and the other side being recruitment. Now, we know for a fact that most people in network marketing might only be interested in retailing the products, and that's absolutely cool. And then there's the other side who are team builders who want to build a network of team builders as well as retailers. Okay. So I like that, Laura. I'm going to cut up that as well. So when times are uncertain, it takes the pendulum from like massively recruiting, it takes us way closer to focusing on retail. Couple of reasons for that, I think. Again, just my humble opinion. Couple of reasons for that are distributors, team builders, business owners lose confidence. They're like, oh, not as many people are joining as easily as they were a couple of months ago. What's going on? I'm going to focus on retailing because I know the more I market, the more I sell. And even though it is actually the same in the recruitment side of things, like the more people you speak to, the more people will join. It doesn't matter what time the economy is in. It doesn't matter what state the country is in. That's just a fact. Numbers are numbers. The more people you speak to, the more people that will join. But it's a confidence thing. And network marketers are mostly people who are out there doing business for themselves. They got to motivate themselves and discipline themselves every day. So it's quite easy to kind of like take the foot off the gas one way and put it on the other way. And we do have these like pendulums that go back and forth. Hey, Kim. And that's just normal. In terms of economy, what happens when economies are unstable is that people are a bit unstable and we all go, as in like, what's going to happen? And we don't make any big moves. Most people don't start businesses. They don't start anything new. They kind of freeze and just hope that it's just going to pass them by and be like, oh yeah, that was hard, but we're okay now. Oh, thank God the storm has gone, right? Most people's responses. But what happens in network marketing is you've got to consider, so what happened in the time then when people freeze and they don't know what to do? When people freeze and they don't know what to do, they just don't take much action. People will still buy products, by the way. No one stops brushing their teeth, washing their hair. You know, if they've already changed their electric or if they're going on holidays, we don't stop doing that even in big recessions, you know. We still spend money on ourselves, and most network marketing companies are based around products that you buy to make yourself feel good, look good, save some money. You know, there's lots of different companies in different industries. So even though most people go, oh, we're still consuming the same kind of stuff. We might not be making the big decision. We don't buy new houses. We don't buy new cars. We don't make big decisions like that. But we always want to make ourselves feel better. So we will still be consuming from network marketing businesses. If you're dropping in those times, it's because you're not marketed enough, probably because your confidence has been hit, probably as an effect of you thinking that people are not going to buy as much because of like cost of living rises or whatever. Does that make sense? Pop a light bulb emoji in the comments if that part makes sense to you. I'm not even yet talking about considering moving companies, but that's what I want you to understand about the industry right now where we're at. What will happen is when everything settles more and the economy goes back to normal, network marketers will get more confidence and they'll be like, oh, people are now joining. Like, oh, I'll start reaching out to people. And on a mass level, that makes a big difference and the industry kind of turns. But that doesn't necessarily have to mean that right now, in this moment, you go, oh, I'm going to freeze and stay still. Keep on going. Do what most people won't. You'll get results that most people don't get. I promise you that. I've got no benefit of saying it. I'm retired from network marketing. I don't build a team. I don't reach out to people. I don't recruit people. I don't let people join my organization. I don't. So I've got no benefit of telling you that other than that's actually the truth. So that's that taken care of. After the uncertainty goes, once the economy kind of stables out, recruitment will really go up. The people that will benefit from that recruitment going up will be the people that kept on doing the footwork in the tough times, kept reaching out to people, building relationships, doing the do, following up, doing all that stuff, stayed strong, kept marketing, all of those things, right? It's what I'm coaching in entrepreneurship right now. It's what I'm sharing. So, let's talk about why people, and I will come back to your questions. I will definitely answer them. I'll just finish what I need to say first. So there are different reasons why people will question and consider changing companies. The first, I believe, the three things. First thing is something changes with a company. And I know this might sound crazy, but like they take a product away, they discontinue a product, they change a formulation, they change something on the marketing plan, they don't bring out enough new or fun or, you know, like time sensitive products that you think they should do. These kind of things can make people think, is this right? I'm not happy about this. Or I loved that lip gloss. Or I built my business on that product, but really they really didn't. But those kind of things can make people think, that's getting on my nerves and this is getting on my nerves. And my answer to that is sometimes it's a case of better the devil you know. Because believe me, when I tell you I have friendships with people in all companies, honestly, all companies, and I can go to one and say, how are things over there right now? And they're like, yeah, the same. Have corporate miffed you off because they haven't brought you out a new product, or they didn't market it in the right way, or they didn't launch it in the way that you wanted them to, or they didn't do this, or they didn't do that? And they're like, yeah. Did I feel that? Yeah, 100%. Did it make me think about leaving? No. Because I'm like, well, it happens everywhere. It just happens everywhere. It is what it is. So, but big changes with the company, like marketing plan changes that are maybe not in your favor or aren't beneficial, or maybe just make you feel a little bit like uncertain. No, it happened years ago with the company that I built with. Something changed on the marketing plan. It was a big change, and a lot of people left, but also a lot of people stayed. Some of the people left I spoke to further down the line, they're like, I wish I'd never have left. And other people will say it's the best thing they ever did. So you know what? It swings and roundabouts, and it's something that's going to be really personal to you. But changes with the company can definitely make you feel a little bit unstable, uncertain, and can make you consider where you want to be. The second reason why people might consider a change is changes with the industry. I know that very much, when there's some bad news stories, it can make people wobble a bit, but there are also millions of good news stories that just propaganda and all that aren't shared everywhere. And it's how we are as humans. We'll share negative stuff, and when we're annoyed, we don't necessarily share positive things. And there are always lots of people winning. But if something massive changes in the industry, there's nothing you can do about it. I've got a really great friend of mine who was with a company that built for years a substantial income, and overnight they changed that they were no longer a direct selling model. And so that's that's their business gone. And so sometimes it can be through no fault of our own. You find yourself in a position where you're like, I'm questioning, where should I be or where should I go? The third reason I think why people think, about changing companies is that something changes with you. And this can be a hard thing. I was in network marketing for nearly 10 years, 9.5 years, I was actively building. And for the last 2.5 of that, my sister had been diagnosed with cancer, and it was really, really tough. And after my sister passed away, I tried to get back into it, and I felt, and because my sister was the biggest part of my team, it just didn't feel good. It magnified the fact that she wasn't there, and I realized that I need to do something else, and that is too painful. And so that was my reasoning. Now, before I came to really asking myself, why do you feel this way? What is it that's giving you these emotions? What is the reason you're thinking about? And I considered, am I feeling this because I need to a change? Do I need to move companies because that would be a change? I didn't build there with Nick, and, everyone's unhappy with something, everyone's always the same. They don't, they haven't brought out this product, or the branding doesn't look quite right, or whatever. We can all be honest and say, everyone thinks that at times. Or why didn't they do this? Or why don't they do that? It is what it is. But honestly, for me, it was working through my emotions and trying to figure out why do I feel like this? And really what it came down to was, when I had all these options to move and change, it didn't feel right to me, because my real reason for not wanting, not having the desire to build, was because of my sister and the loss. And that was just it. So it didn't make sense to join another company. And, I did my research. I looked around, I found some things, and Do you know, I can honestly say, like, most of the companies out there are really great flipping companies. They're really great. They're solid. You can look at, a lot of companies are long-standing companies in the industry that align themselves with, with some strict legislation that they like the Direct Selling Association or other you know what I mean, that they are really great, and they're well-run companies. So it's not necessarily about something changing with the company or an industry. It might just be something changing with you. Like for me, it was losing my sister, and for you, it might be something else. But it's really asking yourself questions and being really honest. I can say, unless it's something huge in those three questions, that right now, right this second, with this going on with the economy, with this going on in our industry, with everything as it is, would I say personally to someone I cared about, yeah, go on, go and change companies? I think right now is time to dig your heels in the sand. Dig your heels in, do the activities, dig your heels in, because it will pay off when we come out of this difficult, different, I should say, not difficult, but different times. That would be my honest advice to most. I mean, there will be like extenuating circumstances where things are happening that are personal or whatever, that maybe that's not the right advice. But on a whole, if you're feeling the frustration, if you're feeling, and I'll go through some questions to ask yourself, my answer is to dig your heels in. This is dig your heels in time. It is not run and build some hype time. And I'm going to go through that as well. Now, one of the questions to ask yourself, and you've got to be really honest when you ask yourself these questions, you can even write them out and write the answers down. Sometimes when you just let the pen flow, so stuff comes out, you're like, oh, didn't even realize I felt like that, or didn't even realize that was an issue or a thing. Are you honestly, if you're frustrated about the results that you're getting, and that is one of the reasons why you feel like maybe I need to change, I'm just not as motivated or whatever. Are you honestly doing the same activity now as when you were getting the results that you desired? Honestly, got to ask yourself that. And don't just say, yeah, but I'm not happy while I'm doing it or whatever. Like, honestly, just on a level, a volume of activity level, are you doing the same activities now as when you were getting the results? Because one of the times that I was like, oh my God, it's just not working the same as it used to, I actually got out my diary from when I started my business. Oh my God, was that a massive realization that hell no, I am not doing the same activities as what I was doing. I can totally, which is why I love planners. I can totally see what I was doing there that I am not doing now. When I went back to doing that activity, guess what? My results increased. The second thing to ask yourself is, have you lost motivation, excitement, and energy for it? This happens, Life can go like this, and you can have slumps, and you can have peaks, and it's perfectly normal. There's no shame in it. You're not lazy. It's, it's just business. And if you're in a business for the long run, you've got to take that sometimes you will feel naturally motivated to do something, which is a feeling. Sometimes you've got to be disciplined, which is doing the thing despite how you're feeling. Sometimes you're going to need some energy to put into it, because honestly, this might be a bit brutal, but I mean, obviously social media, the algorithms are the algorithms, but am I seeing as many people with an energy for what they're doing and for shouting out to people and for putting themselves out there of what maybe I saw like 2-3 years ago? No, I'm absolutely not on my socials. So maybe, and I'm not saying my socials are like the be all and end all, because you don't see everything, do you? But I'm not seeing it. So questioning yourself, like, am I showing up with the energy that I used to show up with when I got the results that I wanted? Or am I showing up with the energy that I would be so attracted to if I was looking for something? Would that inspire me to really kind of like, make some decisions? You might be feeling like this. I did this many times, but have you achieved a goal or goals, and now you find it hard to set another goal that you actually care about, and so therefore you feel demotivated? It's perfectly normal, by the way. You can give me a thumbs up or a hands up emoji in the comments. I'll go to your questions in a second. I'm not ignoring you. I just wanted to get through this. But It might be that you feel demotivated because you hit a goal. Maybe you didn't even have any goals. Maybe you've never been someone who sets goals. And the thought of like going into that dreamy space where, you like set this huge goal and then you're supposed to be all motivated by it, that is so unrealistic. And it 99.9% of the time does not happen. Or if you do get excited about something, that excitement very quickly wears off if it's actually something you don't really give a shit about. Most people set goals that they really don't care about, and then they question, oh, why don't I hit my goals? And then they start to not trust themselves for not hitting goals, so they don't bother setting any goals. So they're just stuck in this limbo land of like nothingness, and therefore motivation decreases. They've got nothing to focus on. It's perfectly normal feelings. Perfectly normal feelings. Does it mean that you should like change companies immediately and try and find that motivation elsewhere? No, it means you should dig deep. Dig deep, increase your skill set is always my answer. If you're finding something difficult, like I'm finding it difficult to grow, increase your skill set. I'm finding it difficult to have better energy, increase your skill set. And obviously you've got to find somewhere to do that, which is why in Entrepreneurcity, I share everything about network marketing. Everything's in the curriculum. So you can up your skill set. If you're having a challenge, up the skill set. You'll learn how to deal with things better. You'll learn how to market yourself better. You'll learn how to prospect better, how to follow up better, how to do all of the things better. So actually you get better results. So the answers most of the time is getting a bigger skill set, learning something new, learning how to overcome it, because inevitably in the long run, it'll make you a better upline, a better mentor, because you'll have experienced the things that a lot of your team will go through over time. Some of the best leaders for me are the people who've been through the biggest challenges, because they're people to go to and say, oh, I'm feeling like this, or this happened with a team member, or this is happening within my team, or this is going on. Like, what do I do? And they say, oh, that's okay. This happened to me. This is what I did. It's what made me like a go-to person for not just my team, but other network marketers, because they know like most things that happened to me during my my career in network marketing. So, it's good to be able to chat it out. One of the bits of advice I would give to anybody looking is don't think it's easier to move and build on hype, because I have seen this happen recently, and this is figures wise. I know of someone who moved company. Their first kind of month volume was amazing. The next month, it was 75% less. And when I say about hype, it's easy. I mean, everybody has hype initially. So when you started your business in one company, when you move, that's hype. And you move to another, that's hype. I don't mean it in like a derogatory way of people who choose to move companies for legitimate reasons and that it is absolutely the right thing to do for them. I don't mean that. But I mean, if you're thinking about moving and you're thinking, I can generate some hype, then just know that it's much harder to do it a second time. If you've seen success and then you're moving, people might think, oh, well, it'll be easier because people will follow. Absolutely not. And people don't. People don't. It would be naive to think that, oh, well, I'll just go here and everyone will just come and do what they did there with me. They don't. Just a fact. Loads of people who have had to go that journey will tell you that. So it's not as easy. Hype is okay. For example, when I'm launching a new product, when I'm launching a new service, when I'm launching something new, it's hypey, it's fun, it's exciting. It's like, yes, here it is. But what about when it's been here for like a year? What about when it's been here for 6 months? What about when it's been here for 2 years? Is it still going then? That then comes down to sort of systems and strategies and campaigns and all of those kind of things. But it can hurt initially if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to go and it's going to be this great thing. And then it is, and then it drops. That can hurt even more. It can bruise your ego. It can massively, massively affect your confidence, which will then affect the activity you put in. So it can be tough. That's being perfectly, perfectly honest. When I was considering, after losing my sis, I was considering my options. One of the things I thought about was that. And I'm being like brutally honest when I thought that it was a time in the industry when people were unsettled and they felt they didn't feel secure. And it wasn't the industry's fault. It isn't any company's fault. It's just the way, like, economy unsettled, that kind of era. And I knew that it would attract more people because of the fact that it was that. And I understood that. And that didn't sit okay with me. I'm like, nah, you don't build a business on that, because, you might get a mass influx, but actually the long term, it's not going to be great. And you've got to do things from the right place, haven't you? I believe in karma, and I believe in doing things from the right place with the right values, with the right intentions behind them. And I try and live my life like that. So thinking about building that way isn't always great. Just like doing things the wrong way, like, I don't know, sponging off someone else's network, contacting people you shouldn't really be contacting, or, trying to do things that just are not quite right. It can only last for so long, because if you're doing that, you're someone who probably can't build relationships and can't build your own network. So that won't last long. If you're somebody who, I don't know, sells all your products at a massive discount, and then you're wondering, like, I don't get it. I used to sell loads and now I don't, because you don't want a discount, because you want to make money. So it's doing things the right way and learning the skill set in order to do that, not taking the shortcuts. Definitely. So let me go to your comments. Afternoon, Hal. Good to see you. So one of them was about saturation. The company I'm with is super saturated, and I'm really concerned about my recruiting potential. I can probably assure you, and I don't even know what company you're with, it's not saturated. A couple of reasons why you might think it's saturated. There's no network marketing that I know that is doing enough turnover to call itself saturated. However, it might feel that way. And that's what actually is important. It's like your perception of it is that it's saturated. And it could be for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons is when you join network marketing or a company, you follow all the things online, you log into certain webinars, you consume certain content, you make friends with people that are in the same company, downline team, whatever, sideline as you. And therefore, loads of stuff that you see on social media is all about the company, the industry, and everything, and you're like, everyone's doing it. And the reality is, no, they're not. It could be that it's in a certain period. So if they're launching and it seems to be everywhere, you're like, oh my God, everyone's doing it. It could be that a couple of people from your local area have overlapped. And so, I mean, all of our networks kind of overlap, right? And that can then feel like, oh God, everyone already knows about it, and they probably don't. So that can be perception as opposed to what is actual, like, kind of reality. So that's something to consider. Saturation is important to think about. And I think by that, I mean within you and you marketing. Like, the products of your company won't change, but it'll only feel saturated and look saturated if you're all shouting about the name of your company and it's everywhere. The name of your company, the name of a product, especially if that's going absolutely wild, that then there's just a big saturation is actually just big brand awareness about a particular product or company. And you might not want that. It might be in the wrong way. But if you talk about kind of opportunities and you do things how I teach in entrepreneurship in the network marketing curriculum, it'll never be saturated, and it'll always be done the right way, and no one will ever perceive it to be saturated as well. So I hope that helped. Laura says, like, I was in network marketing, Phil, there was a huge issue with not being real, having to say all the same strap lines. Nobody took me seriously unless you follow the rules. I mean, that's going to be different depending on, like, where you are, who your mentor is, how you're taught, etc. But the reality is, I think, the pendulum has swung even on network marketing, that, you know what? It used to be kind of like just follow your leader. But now I think that people are realizing, like, you've got to be you. People will buy from you. And remember, buying habits change, consumer habits change. And therefore, if you want to match that, you might have to change too. And I think it's kind of cool, actually. I see it a lot now, more so in network marketing, where people are branding themselves as opposed to just like attaching themselves to a company and becoming, the shaker bottle, the cap, the hat, the jacket, all those kind of things, which are just like oversaturation of brand. And it kind of brings that across in that way. And it also looks like everyone just does and says the same thing. I think definitely there's more confidence now to like say how you feel, be honest, be you. It's totally enough. I think it's a matter of consistency despite what we face. Absolutely. I worked different companies before. But what has kept me where I am is the products work, and the potential is amazing despite what's going on around the world. I would 1,000,000% agree with you. One of the big things is, actually what you're being passionate about. Like if you love the product, if and you can go and try other people's products, you can do that. There's nothing stopping you do that. But if you're with the one that's right for you, that you're most aligned with, that you get the best benefit from the product, then you're with the right company. So the other factors are things that you need to consider. But yes, you are right. It's us being knocked with confidence and not doing as much as the activity sometimes, and that kind of thing can have a real effect. The economy is a shit show. It is, especially the NHS. Oh, don't even start me on the NHS. Stress of the economy is burdening, impacting on everyone, and network marketing grows in recessions. That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. Hey, Luce. Oh, one of my faves. There she is. Highlight Luce. Love you, Luce. Change because I found that the products weren't really for my ideal customer. Absolutely. So if your audience, your existing audience, and the audience you want to continue to build, you haven't got a product that is for them, then yeah, absolutely. So Dad has got a good story about moving company, and it was the best way for him. Well done, you. Also something about how you're treated. Yes, not everyone's happy for you when you do well. Yeah, that happens in everything though, Law. Everything. It happens in the network marketing industry. It happens in corporate. I got bullied in 2 of my jobs. I got bullied in. It happens, we don't all have great experiences with everything. And where there are people involved. And yes, sometimes you're lucky enough to just find this most amazing environment, know how to build great culture and all that stuff. And that's fantastic. But sometimes it doesn't work like that. So it just depends, right? Dig your heels. Yes, Luz, dig your heels in time. Dig deep. Dig deep. Yes, my darling. Yes, absolutely, Neil. Neil says if the products are still as good, then it's probably more to do with a lack of activity or motivation. You don't get fruit on trees in the first year, but that doesn't mean you should stop feeding it. Neil Creamer, this is why he's one of my besties. He's so smart. It's true. It's true. And there's always the saying, isn't there, like the grass grows where you water it, and people can have shiny object syndrome, and I get it, and it's not always the case. It can always be a really considered thing, but you see, because eventually the same challenges will occur. It doesn't matter where you are, the same challenges will occur. And if you feel the same, then you're like, oh, poop. Maybe that was shiny object. Everyone I speak to say they already know someone in this company. Chantal, I really want to know, just message me and tell me, because I really want to be able to say to you, oh, yes, maybe you're right. I don't think there is. I don't think there's any company out there, genuinely. There is always a target audience of age range and what have you that you can market to that doesn't know, believe me. But if you're keeping in the same circle and expecting like a different answer, then maybe if it's to do with a geographical location, then maybe. But you're online, so you can reach different countries all over the world and different towns and cities in seconds. So that could be the way. So pop me a message. I don't mind that. So I hope that has given you some food for thought. I hope being that honest and brutal, my personal one, just my Emma Cooper one, being that honest and I know in some cases it's called brutal, but I just feel like sometimes people are having all the same doubts and all the same thoughts, and we don't share them because we're like, oh, I don't want them to know that I'm doubting myself or my company or the situation or the industry or whatever. But I'm really feeling this kind of way, which is why I'm like, my inbox is always open. I don't mind. You can ask away, it's fine. But right now, I feel it's dig your heels in time. And I know it's not always the answer that people want, but I do feel like that. No big moves, no massive changes. Dig your heels in, really perfect your skills, like up the skill set, get into the activity, make sure you're confident with it. And when the economy and everything comes out the other side, and that's not to say you can't grow now, because you absolutely can grow right now. Absolutely can. It's all to do with the activity and the consistency of that. If you enjoyed this, you can share it if you like, if you feel like it will help others. And again, you can always reach out. I'm always in an inbox to chat. Take care, everyone. Bye.